Okay.
Now you can get started.
Now we can go. Well, happy Monday, everybody. We're excited today. So we're very excited today to talk about one of our new products that we just launched, or two products, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's our patches. Okay.
Yeah.
We have our energy and focus patch and our sleep patch. So what's super cool about this is it's a whole new transmission, right? We're putting it, there we go. Putting it on our skin. Okay. You can put it, Ryan will talk about exactly where we can put it, but I actually like wearing mine on the wrist. So many benefits of both of these, but I'm going to start with just the energy and focus. One of the things that I love about this energy and focus patch is it's different from like just drinking like a cup of coffee or an energy drink before maybe you get going on your workout. I mean, these are targeted to release for 8 hours. So you really have this sustained natural feeling of like energy and focus. Really, really enjoying it today. I mean, how do you feel when you have yours on?
I know. I think like the delivery mechanism is different, and that's kind of what we're striving for, is to give some options to people for things, right?
Sure. Yeah, and it's not that big jolt of like got a super high caffeine kick. Let's go. It's a steady energy and focus, guys. I mean, it feels really, really good.
Steady.
And same thing goes with the patch, the sleep patch. You put it on at night, 30 minutes prior to going to bed, and you start to feel the drowsiness, but it helps you stay asleep as well. And of course, at the beginning, you get a little bit more of it so you can, fall asleep. But again, it's about staying asleep, because a lot of times with sleep, we struggle with falling asleep and staying asleep. So it kind of helps balance both of those. So we're going to get into, I guess, a little bit of the details of the ingredients and take it from there. Yeah,
and don't forget to maybe tune in to watch our sleep Zoom. We did a thing just on good, healthy sleep habits. Just be careful with the fact that, yes, these you could almost put this on and forget about it. So if we're going to talk about energy first, I just want to caution you though to start it early. If it's an 8-hour patch and I would no later than 10 a.m. I don't want you guys to possibly negatively impact your sleep cycle, because again, healthy sleep habits begin with, it's really your process and your habits throughout the day. So, all right. So here's the thing, right? We're talking about a different delivery system. If you know me a little bit now, you know that I have a lot of respect for the robust nature of like the pharmaceutical grade product, how they get there, how they're studied, the efficacy, all of that. But of course, I have a strong desire to incorporate more, say, Eastern naturopathic type herbal remedies into my daily routine as well. So, I love this patch idea, this topical patch idea. It was the late 70s that they first came out with the scopolamine patch. That was a patch for motion sickness.
Right.
And you've used it, and it works.
It worked. It's great.
And then there was the big blockbuster. I think it was in the 90s. It was nicotine patch. And since then, pharmaceutical companies have pumped out patches. They've got them for nitroglycerin and clonidine for blood pressure. They have methylphenidate, actually, the stimulant for ADHD. They've got they have hormone therapy. They have contraception. They have, there's a bunch. But yeah, I mean, so clearly the patches work. Most patches work as topically applied and then through passive diffusion. So they'll just go from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration, and we'll do this over time. So when you first put the patch on, it's the most concentrated, so you can expect the most ingredients to be released, and then that does obviously start to taper off over time. So one thing to think about is, it will wear down, it will wear off. It's not going to be this high amount steady the whole time. That's sort of the nature of it. There are some things that dictate the success and the ingredients that should be used in a patch. Obviously, molecular weight and size is the biggest. So large molecules just don't qualify. So like a B12 is a very large, very heavy molecule. You'll see it in patches. I don't know why people put it in there. It does not absorb. It's just too large. But a lot of that, there's like in the skin world, the cosmetics world, there's like a 500 Dalton rule. So if the molecular weight is 500 Daltons or less, they can typically expect to see some absorption. And of course, like you have to carefully kind of curate and hand select which ingredients will match that criteria. And there's other factors, of course, that would dictate absorption, pH and solubility and penetrability and all the different things that you consider from an ingredient perspective. right? So let's talk about a little bit some of the benefits of the patch, like we did talk about. So first of all, it's different, right? I mean, you're not mixing a powder, you're not taking a capsule. It's an easier thing. It allows longer dosing intervals, so you're not having to remember, say, morning, lunch, and dinner.
Right. It's kind of like a set it and forget it.
Yeah, it kind of is, right? But I don't want you to forget to take it off either. Yeah, and then you know, there's also this concept that it avoids the liver, right? Hepatic first pass metabolism. What does that mean? So if you take something by mouth, usually, almost always, the first place it goes once it's absorbed through the gut or the intestine is it goes to the liver to be metabolized and broken down. And that's a challenge. That's a big challenge for orally administered meds, anything, vitamins, minerals, herbals, botanicals, anything. So transdermal does avoid that. So the dosing can be different, can be lower, which you'll see. Of course, you'll see that here in the patches. The first pass, an example of first pass while we're talking about energy would be caffeine, right? Caffeine gets absorbed, it quickly goes to the liver and is metabolized into, I think, 3 metabolites. I know you like paraxanthine is one of them, but yeah, there's a lot of metabolism associated with that. So the dosing of the caffeine in this product, I think, is 10 milligrams, and that is per patch. But again, avoiding that first pass effect, you can get away with that and experiment with that. So yeah, and look, I mean, that's the nature of passive diffusion utilizing topical patches. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually a few things that I didn't know about the patch.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously the ingredients, there's so many, there's a lot of ingredients in each one, but they all have a very similar benefit. One thing about the energy and focus you'll find that's very common is they're not just something that provides the energy and focus, they're also all rich in antioxidants.
Yeah.
So you get these other health benefits as well, which I find is really cool. And it's a lot about enhancing performance, cognition. But yeah, it's just in combination of all these together. And a lot of these too have benefits for the brain health.
Oh, of course.
But you think about like the focus and cognition, and a lot of times when we have like say Alzheimer's or something, that a lot of that goes. So a lot of these ingredients are helpful for that.
Let's go back to caffeine as an example, right? It increases mental acuity, right? It increases physical performance. And you're right, there has been a lot of studies now starting to show that caffeine can be beneficial in early or preventing stages of neurovascular disorders like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Sure.
You know, of course, caffeine has its drawbacks and there's downsides to everything. That's why I want you guys to be well informed and understand it. You know, caffeine isn't necessarily, so in high amounts on every day and throughout the day that's not a good thing really for anything. So especially caffeine. Yeah.
Right. I mean, other things in there, like I just want to point out, like the black maca. I mean, that's a neurotropic, substance. Again, increases brain performance, improves mood and memory. So like you're going to see a lot of, if you really went and researched every ingredient, there's a lot of, similarities between them.
Yeah.
Where's another one? Oh, quercetin. We opened that. We've actually got a lot of requests to get that into a supplement. So I mean, I'm happy that it's here.
I am too.
We don't just have single supplements. We like to make these powerful combinations of supplements. So there we got your quercetin.
Yeah, and so quercetin, guys, now is starting to show that it's probably a better precursor than NMN or NR for NAD levels. If you guys are familiar with NAD, if you follow anything, it's kind of the premier anti-aging molecule because of its effect on the mitochondria and energy production. Quercetin is like now shown to be really kind of the root cause, like how to plug the hole, like how to really fix the issue, right? So I don't think this will be the end of quercetin in our products, though.
Yeah, no, definitely not at all. Yeah. And I do want to point out how it's awarded liquid orange fragrance oil.
Oh yeah,
that is from the essential oil. I've already had a few questions emailed to me. Is like fragrance. We all think of like red flags when we hear the word fragrance. It's from the essential oils, and I mean, there is no.
It's light. It's very light.
I don't smell it.
I do. It's very light. Yeah. And look, it's there because it's supposed to be like energizing that type of oil, whereas the lavender and the sleep one, the lavender and sleep should be calming and soothing.
Yeah, but these are all just the essential oil, no added fragrance.
No.
And you'll also notice that with the ingredients, there isn't anything else added. Like it's all the powerful ingredients. And what about? Let's go over to sleep.
Yeah, let's go to sleep. But why don't we see if there's any questions real quick? If you could pull that up, if there's anything that would relate to our discussion. So I was looking at the Dalton size here as a couple of things too. So if you guys are curious about that, I'll let you know what those Daltons are. I'm not going to go through each one right now, but they're all very, very small molecules. Patches are made here in the United States in a CGMP facility, and they all have, each ingredient has a certificate of analysis and they're tested, which is very good.
Okay, so far,
So a patch, so the
Okay.
question is, how long should a patch be worn
Right.
for? Yeah, up to 8 hours. I mean, there's really no benefit to wear it beyond that.
I guess with someone's asking about the combination of like taking the coffee or the energy patch. I mean, I did both this morning. I guess it just depends on your schedule. I mean, I was up early. I had my pre-workout,
Sure.
our new E3, it's coming.
Yep.
And then I put on my patch after I got home from the gym, showered, and ready to work. So like, I didn't want to use it for the gym necessarily. I wanted to use it for like the mental focus while working.
Exactly.
It's really not stimulating where you like feel like that. It's completely different. I would just say try it.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. And each person will respond differently. This next question is, can you shower? Yes. Can you exercise? Yes. You can perspire. This should be fine.
Okay, so there was a few questions up here, Ryan,
Yeah.
about the melatonin, which as
We'll
we're
talk about it now.
as we're going over to our sleep.
Yeah.
So one thing that I actually suffer with sleep issues. I just always have. I swear it runs in my family. My parents are like that. My brothers are like that. It is what it is. So I'm always looking for a sleep product that actually, of course, that really works, but also one that I don't have to, forget to take. Or what if like I already brushed my teeth and then I forgot to take my sleep supplement. That's where I like the cool thing about the patch. And I also like how it goes through that 8 hours. So like, I don't have that wake up after a couple hours of already falling, just falling asleep. Super beneficial, really, really beneficial. Lots of ingredients in this one as well. All of them really helpful with mood, sleep, relaxation. There's a 5-HTP in there about, helping to raise the serotonin levels in the brain.
And same with tryptophan.
Right. There's just so many things. You have your amino acids, your L-theanine, your L-tryptophan, your oils, your chamomile, your lavender.
Right.
And a lot of these too, there's skull cap in there. This is the American one. Another antioxidant used with, to have sedative properties. So a lot of these all have similarities that put together in conjunction really help us sleep. The main question going on here is melatonin.
Sure.
So I'm going to address it a little bit, and then of course I want you to touch on it. So melatonin's a hormone, and it's also a very powerful antioxidant. Like there's so many health benefits. More and more research is coming out with like how it can help to fight cancer, how it offers neuroprotection. And something that happens as we age is we start to produce less and less melatonin. Also things that affect melatonin are medications, which we talk about on our drug-induced nutrient depletion. So it's tough because as our body is making less and certain other factors are depleting our bodies from melatonin, then we supplement it. But then you also know that, I think a lot of us have heard that you shouldn't supplement with melatonin because it stops your body from producing its own melatonin. Okay, there is truth to that. That's really overdoing it, chronic melatonin use. It is really made to help reset, your circadian rhythm. So a lot of times with, jet lag or whatnot, but I know I also kind of struggle with my melatonin production because I get up really early. So I'm not getting that natural light to help my cycle. I'm getting up and it's dark, and it's dark for a few hours while I'm first up. And sometimes I don't necessarily feel like alive until like I get that sunlight. There's a lot of truth to that, how our body, and plus our, what do we do at nighttime, right? We stare at a screen. Okay, that again affects our melatonin production. So we are just really depleting our bodies from it. And it is such an important hormone and antioxidant that our bodies need. And I hate the bad rap of it, that people think we should never take melatonin. It's just, the chronic uses of it and high doses. So sometimes if you think you can't handle melatonin, a lower dose you might be able to. I'm going to tell you this. My mom has always told me that she can't handle melatonin. And I just slightly, maybe I didn't believe it. So I had her when we were testing one of our sleep supplements. I didn't tell her what was in it. I just had her try it. And she was like, oh, wow, I slept great. I'm like, well, there's melatonin in there. So just give it a try. Everybody's different. Every dose is different. Every product is different. So just don't naysay the melatonin. It's very beneficial for us. It really is. And what's your take on it?
Yeah, no, good points there, Lisa. And the way a lot of these, sedatives or sleep aids work is a lot of them work through the GABA receptor. And there's a receptor that's inhibitory and it can starts to, like you said, have that sleep, sets you up for your sleep cycle. You'll see that with even valerian root too, and some of the others that you mentioned. We have GABA in here, of course, and but yeah, I mean, so that's a good point. I do think that's true. I think a lot of the things that you said there, Lisa, are actually valid. And with regards to valerian root, though, I went with a higher dose on this because I was really trying to help people. And looking at the studies, I had to handpick the ingredients and the dosages to ensure that and I like to always reference back scientific literature to see and to validate it. But it really, for me, was about sleep latency. I want to help people get to sleep, and valerian root shows a lot of promise there as well. And when you watch our sleep study Zoom, you'll see we do talk about sleep latency. We talk about the cycles of sleep and what the goals should be, and the best habits to get involved in, and all of that. So, but again, that valerian and the tryptophan and the GABA and the 5-HTP and the melatonin and the skull cap. What else do we have? Did I miss anything? I'm sure.
Oh,
the inositol as well. Yep, the inositol, which has been shown to be very beneficial. So all of them just considered really beneficial in playing a role in some aspect of our sleep cycle.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, just give it a try. And if it's something that you don't want to have on a nightly use, I mean, it's always great to have on the times where you kind of know when you're going to have trouble sleeping, or at least I kind of know. Like if I have a lot on my mind, super anxious, or I just feel a little bit wired.
Sure.
I get a lot of the wired, but tired.
Of course.
So it definitely will help with that. I mean, it's great stuff. But again, I mean, with this energy and focus one I feel really good.
Good. Oh, awesome. Love it. All right, let's go quickly into a little bit of how to get the most out of it. Or do you want to take questions first?
I saw some more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bottom.
Oh, good. There's a comment from John about the benefit of melatonin.
Yes.
There must have been a study showing that it slows down the growth of cancer tumors.
Yeah, it's used in higher doses. It's used in a lot of cancer treatment.
Okay, so a lot of comments related to melatonin. Again, each person will respond differently. I just, like Lisa said, suggest you try it and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh. No, if you're really only sleeping 4 to 5 hours, I mean, our bodies need 7 to 9 hours for.
You might be an outlier. There's a few of them out there.
True.
Outside of the bell curve there, where you only need 4 to 5, maybe 6 hours. That's unusual. But again, I would just suggest trying it. And look, you can take it off. Take it off when you get up.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to keep it on 8 hours.
Right.
Like, I mean, tell you the truth, I put this on a little later. I'll probably take it off a tad earlier than 8 hours because I don't want it to affect my sleep.
I agree with Stuart where he says that he suffers from sleep apnea, which I have to some extent, and some daytime tiredness, and obviously sleep issues. I agree that the quick energy stuff, like 5-hour energy and those big, it's too much of a bolus dose of caffeine.
I hate that.
200 milligrams of caffeine is a huge bolus dose.
Hate the way it makes me feel.
Yeah, no, I don't like it either. Actually, Emily, you asked about melatonin, can it cause hot flashes? Actually, some of the botanicals in here have been shown to be beneficial with some of the menopausal vasomotor type symptoms. I can't comment specifically with the melatonin causing that, but some of the ingredients have been shown to be beneficial for it.
This is just interesting about if you have a reaction to melatonin, the different transmission mechanism with that.
Well, look, yes, of course. Until you try it, you won't know. So, yeah, the question here is, this person had a bad reaction years ago and stopped taking it, but to melatonin. But if this is different because of the delivery mechanism, and it could be. However, I mean, melatonin is still bioavailable orally. It's not saying it's not. So it's just a different dose. It's a different mechanism. It's possible that it could have a different physiochemical reaction with your body. So.
Yes, 100% take the magnesium with the sleep patch. There's no magnesium in the sleep patch.
I intentionally left the magnesium out of the patch. That was one consideration. I said, no, we have our own to focus on and to make sure it's there as well.
Yes, these can be used.
Betty, you can use them every day, but again, you're going to end up finding out what works best for you. You may cycle it, find out what that works best. Gotcha. I don't want to put, so this question has to do with the timing. I would never want to wear this energy patch anywhere even remotely close to bedtime. So I'm saying 10 a.m. at the latest. I mean, that's too late for me even, but I put this thing on right when I wake up.
Right.
And I'll take it off early. I won't leave it on if it's start pushing to 3 p.m. I mean, I'm a slow metabolizer of caffeine though. So some of the people that are sensitive to it, like I am, at 1 o'clock, I'm done. I can't take any more
Right.
caffeine.
And 2 o'clock's my cutoff.
Yeah.
Just personal. You have to really just figure out what works for you.
So this question is about our caffeine intake. The only other product that has caffeine in it is the coffee. The reds and greens do not have caffeine.
Yeah. And our E3
Oh, that's right.
version will.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But again, you balance it. You balance it.
We don't. So this question is about a weight loss patch. We don't believe in a magic bullet type deal for that. Because it's a lot to do with lifestyle and functional kind of lifestyle habits. So
Joey, absolutely no jitterness or heart racing.
Yeah.
And I also, like I said, I had caffeine earlier this morning.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's a lot of questions. Thank you for chiming in.
Okay. Next.
Yeah, we did talk about most of that, but here's the thing: who should not take this, and absolutely, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you do not take either one of these products. That pretty much goes for anything to make sure that if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you're checking with your obstetric doc, and to make sure that it's approved. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And if there's any question specifics that we always say about like drug, medication, interactions, email those over because those are very, personal.
Of course.
Not necessarily general questions.
Yeah, any drug interactions I can help you with, I can advise you on. Yeah, I think from that, there's really no other contraindications other than hypersensitivities. If you know your hypersensitivity to some ingredient, then sure, probably not the product for you.
Oh, I did have a question.
Uh-huh.
Can somebody cut it in half if they really just want half?
No, we don't cut patches.
You don't cut patches.
You do not cut patches. No.
And that's just
that's a no-no. That's been like a no-no. That was pharma established that just because it changes the matrix, it changes the way that the drug, the medicine and such, and the ingredients are laid in the patch. So it's one whole patch, it's one sort of just delivery mechanism.
Gotcha.
Do not alter the
So
patch.
it's more or less just take it off a little earlier if it's something.
Yeah, no cutting. No cutting. You don't cut. You can't cut and say I just got half the dose.
Okay.
You can't. You know what I mean, or a quarter or whatever it might be. There's no way to know.
Okay. Yeah, I think besides that, and then being able to shower or work out with it, those are the only other questions that I got
absolutely.
prior to starting this training.
One thing that's cool too is like how thin these are, how light they are, sturdy patches. I mean, they're easy to ship. They're great for international. And Lisa, I don't know, do you want to comment on the pricing?
Well, I'm going to say pricing. So this is how they come in sheets, but there's 30 total in the pack.
Right.
Where are my pricing? So we have it at $14.95 per pack for members and $24.95 per pack for retail.
Okay.
But we also, if you scroll all the way down to our packs, we have an AM PM pack. So if you want to get the whole thing, yes. So that's $24.95 for members to get both of these. I mean, it's such a great deal. And then $37.95 for retail if you are not a member. If you're not a member, guys, it pays to be a member.
Yeah, sure does. Absolutely.
Yeah, so great deal on these guys. Give it a shot. Experiment with. Maybe you want them use them every day. Maybe you don't want to use them every day. Either way.
Yeah, and
great
the wrist is a great spot to apply them to anywhere that's hairless. Good clean skin. Make sure it's dry. The shoulder's another area. The ankle's another area. Those are probably your three main.
Right. I was thinking
spots.
more like if you were going to work and you don't want it on your wrist, if you have a short sleeve, something,
Right.
again, somewhere on your
shoulder could work.
Yep,
absolutely. Okay.
All right, guys. Any other questions? As always, email me, lisa@livegood.com. Thank you very much for tuning in with us.
Yeah. Have a great Monday, everybody, and a super productive week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.